Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about functions in Solidity. So we'll see what are Solidity functions, syntax for Solidity functions, view functions, pure functions, and getter functions. So what are Solidity functions? In Solidity functions are a way to encapsulate and execute a set of instructions. Functions in Solidity can be used to modify the state of a contract, return values, emit events, and more. So we'll see events in the later lectures, so you don't need to confuse about it. So here we have function name input parameters, output parameters, function visibility keyword like public, internal, external, function type, and function body. So let us see the syntax first. So here what we have as a syntax. So we need to use the function keyword as we have been doing from the beginning of the course. Then function name. Then if we have some parameters, we need to pass them here. Then we have visibility function type like public or external. Then we'll have some return types. So we can also say that it's going to be a view function or pure function, and I will explain them in a second as well. So here you can see the explanations for all parameters. So let us first see view functions and other function types as well, then we'll create our own functions. So a view function is a function that does not modify the state of the contract. So that's important. You can just read the variable, but you cannot modify it. So view functions are read-only functions that can be called without any gas cost, since they do not change the state of the blockchain, meaning that if something is a state variable and if you are not able to change it, it's not gonna cost any gas. So the purpose of a view function is to provide read-only access to the state of a contract. For example, a view function might return the balance of an account or the value of a specific state variable. So here we have created this variable before, my state variable, and when you read it inside a function, you need to make this function a view function. Here we are just returning the value. We are not changing the my state variable's value. Okay, that's important. So pure functions. A pure function is a function that does not read from or modify the state of the contract. Pure functions are used to perform calculations or transformations on data and do not interact with the blockchain in any way. So that's important. Here you are not reading the value as well. If you have just some basic calculations, you can do that with pure functions. So pure functions are similar to view functions but are even more restricted in terms of what they can do. Okay, so here for example you want to do a calculation on adding, then you are not reading any state variables, then you can make it a pure function just to have a basic calculation here. So let us also talk about getter function. In Solidity, when a state variable is defined as public, the compiler automatically generates a corresponding getter function with the same name as the variable. So that's important, and I have explained this getter function before. Remember one of the first lectures we had, I have created a getter function and one function also created automatically. So we are basically mentioning that. The generated function has external visibility and can be used to retrieve the current value of the variable from external clients. Okay, so by automatically generating the getter function for public state variables, Solidity simplifies the process of providing external access to the state of a contract. This allows external clients to easily retrieve the current value of a specific state variable without having to define and call their own getter function. Okay, here for example for my public variable, this is our set value function, and there will be also a getter function for this created automatically by Solidity. So let us have some examples on the editor together. So here I will create another file called functions. So let us just, okay, let us just copy and paste these two lines. All right. Okay. So I will create a contract called functions. In this contract, let's have a variable. So let's say string public and let's say state string, and let's make it hello world. Okay, here I will also have a function, let's say function view example, and this is going to be a public view, and I want to read the state. For example, what we have in the state is state string. So let us return this value, and I'm gonna return string memory. So here, let's say return state string. All right, so since we are reading the value, we should make it a view function. All right, so let us create another function. So let's say add, and I will take two parameters here, and B. Let's make it public, pure, and it's going to return the value of these values, which is another uint. So let us return A plus B. All right. So what if I want to make this a view function? So let us get an error and see that as well. So I'm getting a warning. The function state mutability can be restricted to pure. That's why it's important to see warnings and understand from them as well. So while learning, sometimes you can be stuck and you can have some problems understanding the logic. So try to stick with the warnings, try to understand them, and you can fix the problem then. Okay. So here we have a pure function, and we'll see a getter function created for this variable automatically. So let us deploy this. So let us see our state string. It's hello world. Okay. And this function is automatically created by Solidity with the same name. Okay, and it's basically a getter function. So let us also see our view example. So as you can see, it's also a getter function, just with a different name. But the important thing here, we are reading the value. So that's why it's a view function. We are just trying to understand view functions here. So let us give two numbers, let's say 4 and 5. I need to get the value of 9. So it's 9, it's working great. So pure functions are even more restricted. They cannot read the value and they cannot modify it as well. So I think that's all for functions. I will also talk about some other functions like fallback functions in later lectures. So that's gonna do it for this video. I will see you in the next one.